Hi, this is Steve, the coach for Fittest Over 40, and today I'd like to show you a video of the 2011 Masters National Championship in Berea, Ohio. It's the men's 45-49 age group pentathlon 1500 meter. But before I show you the video, I'd like to make a few comments on what do you do on the big race day when it finally gets there. And in that case, last year, that was the big race for me for the year. And you have a big goal. In my case, the goal was to win the pentathlon. And the training's all going well, you're healthy, you feel like everything's ready to go. You're ready for a personal best. And then when the day gets there, you realize that it's not your day. It's not going to happen. So, what do we do when that day comes up? I believe you have some people, and pentathlon's a little different being 5 events. It's kind of a long drawn-out process. It takes the whole morning or the whole afternoon depending on when it starts. So it's kind of a lot to get through, and if it's a struggle, it's definitely a struggle to get through the 5 events. But so that leads to, I think some people, when they know it's not going to be their day, are just going to drop out, whether it's before the event starts or 2 to 3 events into it, and then just give up on it. I think you have another percentage of competitors that after 2 or 3 events, knowing that the goal's not going to be met, they're not going to achieve what they had hoped to, are just going to kind of go through the motions and put together a subpar performance. And then I think you have the percentage of competitors out there who will tough it out, realize that it's not their day, but just give it 100% and grind out the best performance they're able to on that given day. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video, and then afterwards I'll have some comments on what I think happened that day and why.
Come on.
This is the 1500 run pentathlon.
Come on, Dad!
Go down there. I can't hear you up here.
We go around twice,
Almost 4.
4 times.
Almost. Four times is a mile. They almost go a whole mile.
Mom, they look like they're in a school line.
What happened to him?
He must have pulled his hamstring.
Get down there, Connor.
That's Kerry Sloan in the 2nd spot. Parker 3rd, Mackenzie 4th. I'll get your leader when he comes by.
Ugh. Every time. Tell him who's in lead, Connor.
That's Stephen Chilton, your leader. Kerry Sloan, Parker, Steves, Mackenzie, Barry, Bates, Oles,
Like Daddy's making the gap bigger. Daddy's got the gap a little bit bigger. Daddy's making the gap bigger. Come on. Uh-oh, who's the guy coming up out on the side?
Oh no.
Come on, Steve.
Wait, this is it.
No, this is only second lap.
It's third.
He's coming up on the third one.
No, this is the
Been around
third.
twice.
Yeah,
This will be the third.
yeah, you went around twice.
He's still got another one to go.
Nuh-uh.
Got another one after this one.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Steve.
Who is this old guy?
Scott Steve's your new leader. He'll take the bell.
Oh, come
Chilton
on.
second, Parker third, Sloan fourth, McKenzie fifth.
That it?
This is the last lap. Come on, Steve, get up there. I know. Connor, don't climb. Are you gonna do it?
Picking up speed now, though.
Connor, yell at him.
Come on, Dad!
Come on.
Here they
Come on. Come on.
Come on, Dad!
Come on. Go. Go. There you go.
And Steve Chilton will win it.
Oh, I don't know what the time was.
Okay, we're back, and you can see by the video I was able to grind out a win in the 1500. It was definitely a very challenging race. Really had to will myself to get that victory. It was very tough after Scott had passed me to hang with him and try to keep him in range to hopefully be able to come up with a strong kick at the end and get the win. But anyway, so that race I ran a 4:59, which for me, not good at all. The other video on my website, you see that I run a 4:34. That was 5 weeks earlier. I was in as good of shape, if not even a little bit better. I figured for pentathlon I was in 4:39, 4:43, in that range. That's what I was expecting. So 4:59. It's just the way it goes some days. But anyway, what actually happened that day? My training had gone well. I hadn't had any injuries going into it, and the morning I wake up, I'm not feeling that great. Little low energy, little weak feeling. I didn't think too much about it, didn't want any negative thoughts going into the day. So I get there at the stadium and I start my warm-up run. I'm realizing that it's a little bit it's like work. I'm sluggish, I'm breathing a little heavy, even though I'm running real slow. Again, I say, once you actually get into it and you start, running and doing the first event of the long jump, you'll be fine. So I was thinking, after the meet was over, we immediately had to drive back to Maryland, and I'm not happy with what happened, my performance, and I'm wondering, what happened. And I'm thinking, I said, maybe I just choked. Maybe I put too much pressure on myself. Going into the event with the expectations of winning, having a personal best, and falling far short from achieving those goals. But then I started looking at, okay, I don't think I choked, and the reason I came up with that theory was the first event in the pentathlon is the long jump, and I had a personal best in the long jump. I was able to have a little burst of speed and put together a good jump, and that was really the only event I was worried about going into it for achieving a personal best, was because I was not able to duplicate in practice the jumps I had done at the meets. So the other 4 events I knew I could equal or do better than I had the meet 5 weeks earlier. So achieving a personal best in a long jump, I was off to a great start, high points. I said, all right, I'm on my way. But I knew I wasn't feeling good still. As I went to a javelin, a very weak throw, worse than any throw of the year. I just couldn't get it out there. So that more than made up for the points I'd gained in the long jump. I was now behind quite a bit. And now I was actually feeling very exhausted and really wondering if I could actually sprint a 200 meter. I had to just talk to myself. You got to focus. Steve, it's only 27 seconds of effort. That's all you got to focus on. 27 seconds, it'll all be over. And so I fought hard and again ran a personal best in the 200 meter. I was, wow, how did I do that? Feeling that way. And I guess I had enough because of a good taper, 2-week taper I used. My legs had to be pretty fresh, even though I was in a weakened state. As I moved on to the discus, which is my worst out of the 5 events, I threw it literally shorter than the first time I pulled the discus out of the box. I'd been practicing, very consistent with it. Not that I ever threw it very far, but I had been in a certain range, and that's all I needed to do was be in that range. My points were fine. So this really killed me. I think I was last in the discus. So I go into the 1500 meter, I'm in 8th place. I almost feel like I can't even make it through a 1500. I was like, I guess I can run a 5:30 to 6 minutes, somewhere in that range. I should be able to do that. I poured a few cups of water on my head. It was hot out there, but I was used to training in the heat, so that really wasn't much of an issue. Threw a couple of cups of water on my head that made me feel a little better. And I actually started right on pace for the first 300 meters, but I slightly fell off the next 100 at the quarter mark, and then it just literally fell apart. You'll see where, when Scott passes me, it looks like he's, really put a big surge on, which I think he did put a little bit of surge on, but I'm slowing up considerably. My first lap was high 73 seconds, and the second was all the way to 82, and then the third lap 88 seconds, which is hard to believe, but I kept Scott in range. I was able to outkick him at the end, and that secured a 3rd place finish for me, which wasn't bad. I still had an opportunity, if I could have put a mediocre performance in the 1500, of getting 2nd place and maybe even still getting a personal best, considering my long jump and 200 meter were good. But Chris Bates won that day. He really put together a great performance, very talented athlete, can really do all events pretty good. 1500 is not really a strong suit, but the other 4 events he's very strong in. And it would have taken my best day really in all 5 events for me to have a chance to been right with him. So that's okay, but it was disappointing. So I kind of think I didn't choke because I felt good after the long jump, and I just didn't have the energy. It just wasn't my day. So why wasn't it my day? I got a crazy squirrel here looking at me. I believe my nutrition for the week was terrible. I was on vacation the week before the meet. Normally I just have like a day off before a race, but this time I actually had the entire week. I was off work, and I didn't have my normal food that I eat. I was just snacking on a lot of sugary cookies and things like that. My night before and the morning of, I did duplicate what I normally do before a race, but the week leading up to it was just, I stayed off the sodas and fried food, but you know, the high sugar carb stuff, I was way too much of it, and I think that could have had a big effect on me. Or it could have possibly just, you know, if you believe in, if the stars or planets are lined up for you, you have like a magical day or you have a bad day. Maybe, you know, that was my bad day physically for the year. I wouldn't have been able to do nothing at really that high of a level. So anyway, we learned from it. You know, next time I definitely won't make those nutrition mistakes going into a race, that's for sure, and hopefully that won't happen again. So hope you enjoy the video.